As fire spreads through her Webb City home.
We're going to talk about our cooler temperatures to start the week, and also it is Emergency Weather Preparedness Week. Be ready for tornado drills on the horizon. We'll explain from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And at least 7 people are dead after tornadoes ripped through central Iowa.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Police officers rushed to rescue a woman from a house fire in southwest Missouri. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes. Quick thinking by first responders saves the life of a Webb City woman. House fire broke out just before 7 Sunday evening on the 500 block of West 3rd in Webb City. Webb City Fire, Webb City Police, and Met's ambulance responded. Both Joplin and Oronogo Fire responded as mutual aid. Now, the first to arrive were 2 Webb City police officers. They were told an adult female was trapped near the fire in a back bedroom. The rear door of the residence was blocked by fire, so officers busted out a window and pulled the female to safety. She suffered unknown injuries and was taken to an area hospital for treatment. Firefighters had the blaze under control in about 35 minutes. The home suffered extensive damage. The Red Cross was called in to assist the family, and no firefighters were injured fighting the fire. Authorities released the names of those involved in a fatal car crash in southwest Joplin over the weekend. Around 4 Saturday afternoon, Joplin Dispatch was alerted to a 2-vehicle crash near Love's convenience store along Coyote Drive. Joplin Fire and Police responded alongside Newton County Ambulance. 25-year-old Jonathan Beavers of Joplin was killed in the crash. In the other vehicle, both 47-year-old Melody Kelly of Seneca and her 14-year-old passenger were taken to the hospital. Authorities are looking for a suspect after a weekend shootout in Parsons, Kansas. It happened early Saturday morning just before closing time at the Somewhere Else bar on Crawford Avenue. Officers found one person at the scene injured from the shooting. That individual was taken to Labette Health. Parsons police say David Lamont Young III is wanted for questioning in the incident. Young has ties to Parsons, Erie, Crawford County area, Kansas City, and Topeka. Young was reported to be in the company of Raymond Regazio. If you have any information on either man, you're urged to contact the Parsons police. Well, just when we thought winter was over, the cold returns. Michael Aislip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
Well, and Tanya, here's the interesting thing. While we talk about cool temperatures to start our week, how about talking about snow to end our week? Let's start with our daily almanac on this March the 7th, because we're actually coming off some record-setting rainfall at Joplin Regional Airport. We actually picked up 1.13 inches yesterday alone. That sets a March 6th record at Joplin, breaking the 1973 record of 1.08. Still overcast skies. Haven't seen a whole lot of cloud movement. Just a little bit as far as the northwestern section of the 4 states go. By the time we get to the mid-afternoon, though, southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma is going to clear off. It's going to take really until about mid to late afternoon to see everything push out of southwest Missouri. At that point, though, we are staying on the dry side, even with our cloud cover. Temperatures just barely at the freezing mark there with 32 in Joplin, a couple 33s in Parsons and in Welch, still waiting on Monette and Cassville at 30 and 31 respectively to get up to that 32-degree point. Now, even with our cloud cover coming and going here from Monday all the way through Thursday, we're going to stay dry for the next several days, so that's not too bad. And our temperatures actually slowly warming up as well, to the point where we get to Wednesday, we're up into the 50s. We get to Thursday, we're up close to 60 degrees. But also, too, I want you to look at this. We got a little rainfall, and with a huge cold front on the back of that, could even develop into some snow showers on Friday. Now, before we get there, I actually want to concentrate on tomorrow, because with this being severe weather preparedness week, we're going to have some statewide tornado drills in effect. Now, don't want anybody to worry when the sirens go off tomorrow, because our weather is going to be calm. And we'll break this down when I see you here in just a little bit. But before we get there, we need to talk about the tornado damage from over the weekend that ripped through Illinois, including the capital of Des Moines. 4 hours of storms ranging from EF1 to EF3. Tanya, I know you've got the latest.
That's right, Michael. Deadly tornadoes ravaged central Iowa over the weekend, killing at least 7. The same storm that brought the destruction has also now hit other Midwestern states. CBS News' Laura Podesta has the latest.
An estimated EF3 tornado ripped through Madison County, Iowa Saturday with winds reaching over 200 miles per hour. Homes and lives were destroyed. 3 members of one family, the father and a sister and brother ages 5 and 2, are among the dead.
On this side of the fireplace, we had all of our kids' toys.
Shannon Brown's family was spared in the storm. Her home was not. Now hundreds in the Des Moines community are coming out to offer support and clean up.
You know, you really realize who, cares about you.
50 miles southeast of Des Moines, Lucas County was also hit by a twister. Volunteers, including construction crews, worked through the weekend to help people get back on their feet.
This is what I love about rural Iowa, is that everybody comes together when something happens.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds toured the damage and got emotional talking about the resiliency of the community.
I'm proud of Iowans and the way that they always step up and respond, and I'm so proud of the local leaders and the coordination that takes place every time we have an emergency disaster like this.
It's estimated more than 50 homes in central Iowa were either damaged or destroyed by the storms. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Overnight, twisters were confirmed in both Arkansas and Missouri. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, as the crisis in Ukraine continues. Here at home, U.S. economists say it's gonna be a rough next 6 months, and not just for gas. And later, we're making chocolate chip cheesecake bars in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. The U.S. considers new sanctions against Russia over its continued invasion of Ukraine. The talks surround a potential ban on Russian oil imports, but the White House has been reluctant to do so because it would force already spiking gas prices to skyrocket. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky released a new video calling on the U.S. and all Western allies to ban Russian oil to ratchet up the economic consequences for their war. Meanwhile, Russia has said it would agree to a safety corridor to allow civilians to escape war-torn areas, but those ceasefire attempts have not held. More than 1.5 million people have made it out of Ukraine, the largest wave of refugees in Europe since World War II. Congress could act this week to approve $10 billion in humanitarian and military aid for Ukraine. Well, gas prices are skyrocketing. The U.S. average per gallon topped $4 for the first time in more than a decade, fueled in part by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Many experts warn prices will rise even further, not just for gas, but also for other essential goods. Carter Evans reports from Los Angeles.
Drivers spent the weekend in long lines for cheaper gas in Southern California, where prices average more than $5 a gallon.
I had to get here early for gas because it's this crazy out there. It's over $6.
Nationally, gas prices are skyrocketing, averaging more than $4 a gallon. A typical driver is paying $16 more to fill up than this time last year. Russia's invasion of Ukraine putting pressure on global oil markets is partly to blame.
When can we see gas prices actually start to decline?
Realistically, it's going to be rough for the next 6 months.
UCLA senior economist Leo Feller says the war in Ukraine is impacting its exports and Russia's.
We're seeing big supply shocks, right? We're seeing oil prices go up. We're seeing wheat prices go up. Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe, right? So there is a lot of concern that this is going to make an inflationary problem even worse.
Russia and Ukraine supplied nearly a third of the world's wheat last year, and since the invasion, exports have come to a standstill, meaning shoppers could see a rise in prices for items like cereal and bread and even meat, since some farmers rely on wheat to feed livestock.
How long is this going to last?
It's going to last as long as a war between Russia and Ukraine lasts, and until we're able to ramp up production in the U.S., the demand is there.
By the end of the week, we could see the national average for a gallon of gas shatter the all-time record high of $4.11 a gallon. But with oil prices close to $100 a barrel, U.S. producers will start ramping up production soon. It usually takes, though, about 6 months to get that oil into the pipeline. Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, California's state average of $5.34 for a gallon of gas is the highest in the nation, and that's according to AAA. Missouri has the lowest at $3.62 per gallon, and we stopped by the Walmart Market in Joplin this morning, where they're selling gas for $3.39. Thank you, Michael. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Ever wonder what recipes our viewers love the most? Well, today we're sharing an oldie but goodie that you don't want to miss.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Far cry from where we were just 7 days ago. Overcast skies, cooler temperatures, almost seems like the end of February, beginning of March. Going to be better here than it will be in the middle of March. 32 degrees right at the freezing point, and look at that wind coming in 23-mile-an-hour gusts at Joplin Regional Airport. And that north-northwest breeze is going to make a huge difference all throughout the course of this week. We can just keep that with about 15 to 20 miles per hour all weekend long. Just to reiterate, we did break a March 6th record yesterday at Joplin Regional Airport. Picked up 1.13 inches of rain, breaks the record of 1.08, so only did it by 5/100ths of an inch, but did so breaking the record that was previously established back in 1973. Now remember, our drought monitors are updated every Thursday, and at the same point in time, sometimes it'll take about a week or two for that to actually take effect. But it'll be curious to see as we progress through March to see exactly what effect that has. Here's the interesting part about the rain that we picked up. And this goes back all the way to Friday night when that severe thunderstorm rolled through southwest Missouri. Really, as you get east of the Kansas-Missouri state line, this part was already doing okay, and we see pockets of 3 inches right there on our rain totals over the weekend. And then as we move to the west, we taper off severely through southeast Kansas and down to the northwest area. Got reports out of Miami that it was raining cats and dogs last night, and that was some much needed rain as well. But really, as you move toward the west, that's where we needed most of the rain. So once again, we'll check that out on Thursday when NOAA updates its drought monitor. Temperatures right now, a whole bunch of places right at the freezing mark. And once again, got to remember, at this point in time last week, we were talking about pushing up into the 70s. Let's talk about this week, because we've got statewide tornado drills. And the reason I like to point this out every year is to keep everybody calm, cool, and collective. But this week does mark Severe Weather Preparedness Week. And so Missouri and Kansas, Arkansas and Oklahoma are spacing theirs out. But tomorrow, specifically, for Missouri and Kansas statewide, we're going to conduct tornado drills, and that's going to include local storm sirens. I've talked to a number of school districts. They also are prepared to have the kiddos, take cover in the hallway and whatnot. And if you have a NOAA radio at 10 a.m. tomorrow, that radio is going to come out with a tornado drill. Here's why I don't want anybody to be surprised by that, because while we're talking about it, number one, chance to make sure your sirens are working, your radios are working, and the kids are prepped. And because we do not have the threat of severe weather tomorrow, drills will commence as scheduled. Remember, statewide, they will not do those drills if there's any threat of rain, anything that's even close to it, but we will not. We'll be on the dry side, albeit overcast. And so 10 a.m. tomorrow, be prepared when those drills go off. Just do not be alarmed. Let's just make sure everything is working, because we are coming off of a weekend of severe weather. Tanya telling us earlier about the damage that ravaged the state of Iowa. It was about a 4-hour storm affair that worked in from the southwest. Tornado reports right through the central portion of Des Moines, up through Waterloo, finally tapering off as it headed toward Illinois right there. At least 7 confirmed deaths, and last I looked, we were looking at 150 homes that had been destroyed. The jet stream with some major changes just from this morning as the trough is severely shifted out to the southwest. And as it once again rides through to the central portion of the United States, that's going to mean cooler temperatures for us for the entire weekend. Now, severe thunderstorm risk. Here's a positive. Everything shifts out to the mid-Atlantic and works its way up toward the northeast. With that being said, as we gradually warm up, we've got a secondary cold front. And I call it a secondary cold front because we're in the midst of one right now. But a secondary one begins to present itself Thursday afternoon. So Thursday night, we develop rain along that warming trend that moves out to the southeast. And then, Tanya, well, that rain's going to have to flip over at some point in time. Not looking like anything severe, shouldn't hamper any of our travel, but I think we're going to see some scattered Friday morning snow.
Yeah. Ooh, well, bundle up.
Once again, nothing like what we had on those alternating weeks in February, though.
We really got teased. I thought we were ready for spring, but winter behind us. I know you warned us it wasn't going to be that way.
You know what she is.
Fickle mistress.
She's a fickle mistress.
All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4th state hero, Private Leighton Hall in the U.S. Army. Soldier from Riverton, Kansas, joined the Echo Company 367th Armored Battalion, 4th Infantry Unit based out of Fort Hood, Texas. He served a tour in Iraq in 2005. To Private Leighton Hall, we thank you, our four-state hero. Want an easy, sweet treat that's guaranteed to amaze your guests? Today, Howard shows us how to make chocolate chip cheesecake bars in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Hey, do yourself a favor and stop what you're doing to watch what we're making today. I say this because it's probably one of the most popular and most loved Mr. Food Test Kitchen recipes of all time. It's our chocolate chip cheesecake bars. And if you already have the recipe, today might be a good day to make them again. First, to make the filling, we simply beat together some cream cheese, eggs, sugar, and vanilla. We'll set that aside while we cut a couple of tubes of refrigerated chocolate chip cookie dough into slices. Next, we line the bottom of a 9x13 dish with half of these and press them together to make a crust. Now it's time to spoon on our cheesecake filling. Make sure you level it out so it bakes evenly. On top of that goes the rest of the sliced cookie dough. Don't worry about the space between the cookies, that's okay. After it bakes and cools, cut it into bars and serve them with milk. Then get ready for lots of oohs and ahs. The recipe for our chocolate chip cheesecake bars isn't just timeless, it's easy, foolproof, and most importantly, they taste amazing. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a favorite classic way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our four-state market prices.
Get ready to bundle up each and every morning, dropping below the freezing point once again into Tuesday. Let's roll it again for Tuesday into Wednesday. Now, Wednesday and Thursday, at least we're getting close to 60 degrees. But remember, Thursday night into Friday morning, looks like we'll have some of that rain flip on over to March snow.
Oh, no. I don't want March snow.
Apropos, I can tell you this much. It would have been 17 years ago on Friday that there was snow on the ground.
Really?
That's because the hay slips introduced a new person into the world. And that's how I vividly remember that
moment, for sure.
All right, what do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, it's been a stressful couple of years for a lot of Americans. And that has people thinking more about their mental health and looking for help. Now, some big chains are offering therapy in a place that might surprise you, your local pharmacy. We're going to have that story at Health Watch. Plus, we're going to break down a Kansas bill for radar-detected lights on wind turbines. We'll explain how this could eliminate constant blinking lights. And check out Pitt State's longest-running tradition, Apple Day, with lots of activities planned on campus. Hope you join us for those stories, a lot more at 5.
All right. Thank you, Dad. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here.